Well then, that was interesting. That was pretty interesting of an episode. Okay, well, where do we start? At the beginning, I guess. So, at the beginning of the Edge of the World, we have like that little dream sequence. I could tell like the second like I saw Luz acting okay, I was like, no, something's wrong. You can't have an episode like Hollow Mind and not pick up right where you left off. Like, you just can't. You literally can't. And so I knew something was happening there, and it was a nice little introduction to the episode. And then when you saw like King's fake dad, I was like, wait, that's not his dad. I mean, that's not his dad, and the other one was his dad. But we thought that his dad was the other guy, so we knew that this guy wasn't his dad. So you pretty much could tell that it was a dream segment right from the very start. And then it ends, and you see, like, you know, Ida trying to wake up King and saying that Luz is ready to talk. And then she does. She talks about what happens, and now Ida knows everything. Oh, and this is just so good. I love this, like, little intro sort of scene in the Owl House where, you know, like, we get Lilith coming in, and then Hooty freaks out over Lilith and, like, chokes Luz by accident. Oh, there's so much here. I love how, when Luz is like starting to get really scared, they're like, all right, Hooty, King, you know what to do. And they're like, they give her a little hug, and oh, it's so sweet. It's so sweet. But then they get the letter from King's dad, quote unquote King's dad, as we know it is not, but we'll get to that. And they go off to, you know, the finger or whatever, but not before we have a really nice scene with Ida and Lilith. I love this scene. This is so good, where Ida is like, she doesn't want to break down in front of her kids, but in front of Lilith, her sister, she can. I love it, dude. I really like it, where it's like she's so worried, and it just feels like, oh, this is really good as showing Ida sort of like her motherly instinct, like as a parent, where she's just looking out for Luz and stuff. Oh, it's so good, where it's like she thought Luz was just some lost kid, but no, now she's tied up in Emperor Belos's schemes and whatnot. And she feels so bad for her. She just wants to help her out. And it's like, okay, we're gonna figure out something. You know, Lilith and I are gonna work together. And I really like that. That's so good. I also just love how Hooty in this episode. Hooty's so good in this episode. We'll get to that too. So they rejoin the Selkie Damas hunting crew, and they sail off toward the finger, or whatever it is, like the finger of a different Titan. So it's confirmed that there are multiple Titans. And my theory about King being a descendant of the Titan was kind of on spot, honestly, but again, we'll get to that. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So we, you know, they sail, they go land ho, and they find the place, stick the little rock thing, claw, I don't know, they stick something in there in that little slot, and they're transported to the other side of the world, they call, and they meet the people, King's people, quote unquote, called the Titan Trappers. Already from the start, I thought this was really interesting, because just they're calling it the other side of the world. And we kind of get what those implications might be a little later in the episode, but I just like how that's what it's called. The edge of the world, other side of the world, whatever it's called. I think it's cool. And then, you know, we start meeting the people, King's people, and they talk about how they were Titan trappers and how they never actually fought a Titan, but they're the type of people who do. And I thought that was cool. And King starts, you know, learning some of the things that his people do. And I thought that was really neat. So then Luz and Hooty give King time with his people. He gets to do like little things. As I was watching the little montage of King doing the things with his people, I knew something was wrong. It just felt off. I don't know. I couldn't really put my finger on it. I was like, why are warriors like why are they so excited to see this little guy? Like, it feels so weird. Like, the entire town is like obsessing over this little guy, like little King. I was like, why are they all obsessed? It feels kind of weird. And it's like all he did was like stand on near a waterfall and like stand on one foot, and they're all like, yeah, let's go. I was like, if I had an entire crowd cheering for me for standing on one foot, that'd be awesome. I was like, what is happening? Why are they so excited? I guess it's like it was one of their lost people, so I guess I kind of understood. I don't know. I just felt that something was wrong. And we kind of get that feeling a little bit later once Luz goes up to the top of the tower and meets Bill. Just Bill, which I think is funny. And it's like, is it just Bill? It's like, yep, it's just Bill. And I was like, okay, well, listen, I've already been through a villainous Bill. I'm used to the name Bill being tied to a villain, so... Not calling out any Bills out there, I'm just saying, you know, we've had a Bill that's evil before. But anyway, you know, they start talking, they talk about how Luz wants their help to beat Belos, because they kind of need it, knowing frickin' Belos. Slowly, as they start talking, they come to realize that something is wrong, and that King is a descendant of the Titan. Now, I think a lot of people had this theory. I was one of them, especially it kind of came to me not as early as other people, but I remember when I saw the picture of the draining spell of Unity, I took a good long look at the Titan and I was like, yeah, that kind of looks like King, It kind of looks like King. And then we see the poster that says the lost son of the Boiling Isles and shows this sort of egg. And I was like, instantly, that was it. That was when you knew. It's like, uh-oh, King is a Titan. And these people are Titan hunters. We need to get out of here. You knew this. Second I saw that poster, it was like slowly building up. This feeling of like something's off, something's not right. And then boom, the poster is like, oh snap, this isn't good. I like how the guy even said like he made the posters. Like I took a printing class and it specifically says something like the Grand Huntsman cannot return to us until this lost son is found by someone worthy. So the Grand Huntsman is how they refer to the Collector. I actually really liked this part where these people are basically servants or like in a cult for the Collector. I thought that was so cool because we've had very little knowledge about the Collector, and then we get this room and we get all the skulls, which I don't think are real because he said it's like his own DIY project, so they're probably not real. But we see like the murals in the back of like Titans dying or suffering, and this shrine to the Collector. There's like the snow globe of the Collector, the big sun and the moon sort of Picasso-like design. And this is just like, you knew the second you saw this. Like after Hollow Mind especially, I was like, oh snap, the Collector. They're worshipping him as some sort of god, as some sort of Titan hunting god, which I guess I could see the Collector doing. I don't think the Collector would see himself as a Titan hunter. I feel like he probably just did it because he was bored. Knowing the Collector, he's the embodiment of chaos. So he's like, oh, let's fight this Titan. Why? Because I can. Because it's there. It's like the same thing as like, why climb a mountain? Because it's there. But anyway, Luce and Hooty, they realize what is wrong and they start running away. And they're gonna go try and find King, and King's with Tarek, and he's like, oh, can we play catch? And it's so sweet, and they're about to play catch, but then, Bill warns Tarek that, hey, King is the Titan, he's the Titan son, so they put him up for like this weird ceremony thing, which I'm gonna have to look at this again. And immediately the first thing I noticed is the weird sort of circle round boy, as Philip called it. That thing that summons the Collector, it's there, but it's like cracked. It's the same thing that what Philip had. And I was a little confused. I was like, why is it here? Maybe there's multiple of them. Maybe there's one in the Boiling Isles and one on the other side of the world, as they call it. I was wondering why it was cracked. It's a little weird, but it's cracked, and that's the thing. And then King needs to set it on fire or something. So by setting it on fire, they're gonna try and summon the Collector back. And by doing that, they have to sacrifice King. So what I imagine is, instead of sacrificing a Titan, maybe they need Titan blood. Because if King is a Titan, does that mean he has Titan blood inside him? I don't know. Maybe it's not like magic-y enough because he's not like an older Titan. Maybe it's like young Titan blood, so it's not as powerful. I don't know, but if he's a child of a Titan, surely he has Titan blood. I initially had like this weird thought, because it's like, we heard how the Collector was talking about how he's trapped beneath these bones, which I thought was weird. The Collector had like another phrase in the beginning of this episode when Luce was like recollecting, curse the land in 9 bright hues instead of paint the land. So it's a little different than last time. So basically, I don't really know what the significance of the difference is between the statements, but there is a little bit of a difference, and he's saying curse instead. So maybe the Collector just wants to revive the Titan to fight it again because there are no more Titans, so he wants to fight another Titan. Whatever that may be, it's hard to say. So if they're going to try and reunite the Boiling Isles with the Titan so that the Collector can become a Titan hunter again and start fighting Titans because there's nothing else that he has fun with besides being chaotic, but like, I don't know. It's something like that. For him to be revived, I don't know. It's hard to say because I was like, at first I thought, oh, he's trapped in this other world. If you summon him by using Titan blood in the other world, by fixing the little cracked thing, he'll be able to return. I don't know, maybe Belos even lost the little round boy, as they call it, I'll just call it the Collector summoning circle. Maybe he lost it one day, it broke, and it fell into the other side of the world, and then they found it, and they tried to revive the Collector, and maybe the only way for him to come back is by I don't know. It's hard to say. I really, really don't know what's up with the collector. I feel like we're just getting little pieces of the puzzle, and it's kind of hard to put it together right now. And obviously, I'll have a follow-up video. I'm sure other people will find things that I haven't. So I'll have a follow-up video on this for sure when new information, has been found. I'm just kind of looking at things that I have found right now. But either way, no matter what, they're still trying to revive the collector. And I'm so glad they didn't, because we're not ready for that. Freaking Day of Unity is 1 week away, which is actually insane, dude. But anyway, we get back to it. Luce uses her invisible spell to rescue King, and we have a nice little emotional moment where King is like, hey, I wanted to find my people because, you're my people, and I'm gonna have to deal with you moving back to the human realm because that's just how it goes. And it was so sweet. And then we get, Hooty being so good in this episode. Hooty's so good, dude. Hooty is, so freaking strong. He's so awesome. It feels like they animated him really well to where it's he's blocking these magic attacks and he's not taking any damage or whatever. And he's so reliable. He actually, was defending them like Luce said. Without Hooty, they probably wouldn't have made it out of there. It's crazy how versatile and useful the Porta Hooty thing is. Because you just imagine this one long extending thing forever. It's an infinite. He's infinite. I think Dana confirmed that he can infinitely, go. I just think it's so cool how Hooty's battling everybody. He's using himself as a whip. He's hitting people. I don't know. Hooty's power is just so cool. And then we have King. Once they get back to the other side, King uses his wah sound beam attack and takes out the entire finger so that the people chasing him can no longer chase him. I did forget to mention, I like how when they take off their helmets, or when King knocks off the helmet, we see the double-sided paint, which makes me think of the collector Luce theory might not be true anymore because we have double-sided paint now. Either way, they all start taking off their masks and revealing their true faces, and they all have little symbols that show their loyalty to the collector. They try and go through the portal, but King destroys it. And then while it's, collapsing, Hooty, I forgot to mention, when they come out of the portal too, oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this, I'm sorry. But when they come out of the portal, I love how Hooty wraps around the finger and pulls them off little, I don't know, he pretty much grapples onto the finger and lets them down slowly. And then he just, comes on back. And then he also protects them from the rubble falling down from the finger. And then he can just kind of shake it off. It's he's so useful. I love Hooty in this episode. He's so cool. Freaking Hooty, dude. The freaking comedic relief character is actually extremely strong, which is so cool. Hooty did more than Luce. No offense, Luce. You did pretty good with your invisible spell and the lights, and you did a couple attacks on the people. But Hooty, dude, Hooty was clutch. He was actually straight up clutch in this. I loved it. And then the episode ends with, of course, the Emperor's scouts, led by Kikimora somewhere. I don't know. She's giving orders, but either way, a bunch of scouts have now surrounded the Owl House, so there's not really a place for them to go back to. Which, honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it sooner. If I was Bellows, I would have just, got Ida out of the picture. You know exactly where she is all this time. And, Hooty isn't there, I guess. Now that I think about it, Hooty, the best defense system, isn't there. It's just Ida and Lilith, and neither of them have magic, so it's oof. Gonna be kind of rough unless they have some sort of secret plan. But I think the main downside of this episode, not even really a downside because it'll probably happen later, but the biggest thing that I was sad about with this episode was we don't know what happened to Hunter. What happened to him? We don't know. Come on, dude. I want to know what happened to Hunter. He ran away in a panic attack. What happened? I really hope Darius and the others found him. I really do. So, yeah, that'll be it. One last thing, though. I do have to give a huge shout out and thank you to Stuff. They are an awesome member of this community. They were kind enough to draw me this profile picture, which is super cool. It's used my little character, but I asked if they could draw my character with the Golden Guard mask, and they did. And they did it for free because they were so nice. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're the best. So I have nothing but good things to say about Stuff. Very awesome person. I have their YouTube and Discord linked down in the description below. They are awesome. Many props and thank yous to Stuff. They are epic. They deserve all the credit for making this awesome profile picture. So thanks again, Stuff. And that'll be it for me, everybody. I'll see you all for a follow-up video, hopefully in a few days. Have a good one. Bye!